Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal.
EcoBank. Nero Prime Water.
Jan Traditional Council calls for collaboration with the police and the reopening of the courts following violent attacks on Kwame Danso District Court and Police Station.
Also tonight, Ghana's progress against neglected tropical diseases at risk as misdiagnosis and donor funding withdrawal persists.
Illegal mining causing havoc in parts of northern Ghana as some rivers polluted with livelihoods affected.
Much later in international news, UN Security Council renews DR Congo's peacekeepers' mandate, keeping about 11,500 military personnel in the country. We're an hour early today. Welcome to the broadcast. Let's settle for the details of the stories beginning from here.
Let's begin the bulletin from here. The Ghana Armed Forces has deployed additional troops to Nalerigu in the northeast region to tighten their grip on insecurity situation in a town that has left several houses burned during a working visit to assess the situation and inspect the troops. The military Northern Command urged residents to remain calm and abide by the curfew. Here's a report by Castro Senyala.
The visit by the Ghana Armed Forces Northern Command comes as security forces tighten measures in Nalerigu, where unidentified men on Thursday set fire to the residence of senior members of the Nairi Palace. The actions of the assailants were reportedly triggered by the recommendations from the Otunfo-led Committee on the Boku Chieftaincy dispute, which were perceived as unfavorable. In response to the unrest, the government swiftly imposed a curfew and authorized the deployment of armed security personnel to the area. During a visit on Friday, the General Officer Commanding of the Northern Command of the Ghana Armed Forces, Brigadier General Walanyo Agbebo, who called on the Regional Police Commander, urged close intersecurity collaboration to help restore calm.
Collaborate, and then where there's difficulty, like you are saying, my captain is always available, so that we can combine our efforts to ensure that the place is calm and calm permanently. So I'll encourage you to let your people on the ground get information, get the intelligence out of it, and then together you can go and pick them.
As part of security measures, checkpoints have been mounted at all major entry and exit points to control movement. The riding of motorbikes within Nalerigu remains banned, whilst joint police and military patrols continue around the clock. The commanding officer of the 11 Mechanized Battalion and officer in charge of the Upper East and Northeast operational areas, Lieutenant Colonel Isaac Buaku, said the swift imposition and strict enforcement of the curfew have helped to restore law and order.
The past 18 hours, I can say that the situation has been relatively calm. The citizens are carrying out their activities. We've not had the opportunity to even arrest anybody yet. It's been very calm. Activities have returned to normalcy. If you go to the market, you see market activities ongoing, as if nothing even happened yesterday. So we are confident that calm has been restored, and we believe that in the next few days, same will be witnessed.
The General Officer Commanding, on his part, commended the troops for their professionalism and a strong collaboration with the police. He urged residents to fully comply with the curfew regulations and cooperate with security agencies to help sustain peace.
In general, the place is calm, and we hope it will continue this way. But I just want to use the opportunity again to warn the youth that violence doesn't pay. And violence in this area, it will curtail your freedom. And that's what we have done by imposing the curfew to the higher authorities. and we are going to enforce it rigidly.
As security forces heighten patrols, Nalerigu remains calm, with residents going about their daily activities. Castro Sinyala, TV3 News, Nalerigu, Northeast Region.
Well, still on security-related matters, the Jan Traditional Council says it is ready to collaborate with the police in restoring law and order, appealing for the reopening of the Kwame Danso District Police Headquarters and the Magistrate Court. On December 10, irate youth attacked and freed suspects during a court hearing and then turned to the District Police Headquarters to unleash similar actions on officers on duty. William Evans Inkum has filed this report.
The infamous December 10 attack on the Kwame Danso Magistrate Court and the District Police Headquarters has drawn avalanche of condemnation. To some analysts, it was a major blow to the country's justice system. An ongoing trial involving two indigents over the alleged involvement in an attack on some herdsmen was abruptly disrupted by some irate youth.
Right from here, then the invaders move straight. That is, after freeing suspects, they move straight to the police or the district police headquarters, where they also attacked. Now look at the proximity. This is the court, and just directly opposite to the court, we have the police station. So they just cross the Kwame Danso main street, which is not far from the court, then to here, where they also attack the district police headquarters.
A source at the police indicates an arrest has been made, but will not reveal the full details because investigation is still ongoing. A vibrant town, now without a functioning police station.
Already is not robbery issues so seni very serious for Jama see seni.
We have security issues already. Armed robbery is a major issue here. The national security has become the stopgap in the wake of the impasse. We continue to plead with the police to return to maintain law and order. The chief of the Jan Traditional Council also says they are assisting the police in arresting the two fugitives and their accomplice. Beyond the assistance, the traditional authority has publicly assured of replacing all damaged items during the attack.
Say Adiabia, I say, or court today, Muhono. Any police station, Hono. Men Nana Adukofi Bankuma Sono.
I pledge to replace all damaged items at the court and the police headquarters. The police continue to hunt for these suspects aside their routine patrol in the Kwame Danso township.
For 9 days, the Kwame Danso police station has been under lock. Nonetheless, the police visibility is very heavy because of the fact that this is one area that armed robbery cases is always on the higher.
William Evans Inkum, TV3 News, Kwame Danso, Bono East Region.
Well, let's go up north because in northern Ghana, where access to potable water remains a major challenge, a silent killer is lurking. Rivers that once teemed with life are now mixed with deadly pollutants poisoned by the activities of illegal miners and posing a grave threat to communities and wildlife. Correspondent Christopher Makun has the rest of the story.
Mining activities have over the years polluted water bodies across the country with toxic chemicals such as mercury and cyanide. This has affected aquatic life and the livelihoods of fishermen who depend on fish from these water bodies to survive, while farmers struggle to irrigate their crops. In communities along the White and Black Volta rivers, residents are reporting illnesses.
We have recorded cases like unidentified Identified sex. We have recorded cases like cleft palate, gastrochesis from that side.
Mark is a 35-year-old fisherman from Nawuni, a community in the Kumbungu district of the northern region. His village, like many others in the Tamale metropolis, depend on the Nawuni River for its livelihood.
We are young. In fact, me like this, if you come to fishing like this, within seconds, you are going to the house. You not spend a lot of time. But today, someone can go this morning or less the next day before the first thing. The person can, when he accounts for you, you will give up because the money is not there.
However, it appears that the river is beginning to pose serious health concerns. The culprits are Galamsey operators in the upstream Volta River basin who use toxic chemicals to extract gold and wash them into the river.
There are people here, the way they are doing it, they are destroying the vegetation cover. And which is supposed to be there so that the fish can be hidden inside there. And those we are doing the farming around the river boundary too. When you spray, the chemicals and all those things are also, when it's rain, it washes everything into the water.
Apart from the pollution of these water bodies and destruction of the environment, education in mining areas is also being affected. Mohammed Aisha is a teacher at Tinga, a mining community in the Bole district of the Savannah region.
Most of our students leave school and go for Galassi. And this has a lot of issues when it comes to education, because sometimes they mix classes and a lot. So when it comes to exams, they can't write anything for us. Some of them, we are not able to talk to them because when you talk, they ask you how much is your salary at the end of the month. Because they can take a day or 1 week to make what you get as a teacher.
The Tili River in the Upper East region, the Zongoyiri River in the Upper West region, as well as the Jamboyiri River, which flows downstream into the White and Black Volta rivers, for instance, have been heavily polluted.
People access that water. People go to their farms and they use the water. We also have fishermen who go there to look for fish. And others also go there for various activities, economic activities, and they use the water. So that is a serious concern to us.
Research conducted by the Water Research Institute of the Center for Scientific and Industrial Research, with support from Tama Foundation, reveals high concentrations of heavy metals in the Black and White Volta rivers.
So right now, what we have found out that there is certain levels of cadmium, the lead, and chromium, and then with the cyanide also showing up even much more than mercury. And we are seeing that this is of concern and something should really be looked at in the an eye on the Volta River system.
Health officials in communities along the White and Black Volta rivers are worried about the increasing levels of pollution caused by heavy metals.
Abnormalities are bound to happen. But my worry is where we are now with the Galamsey ongoing. That is my worry. Because I wouldn't be able to tell whether it's just abnormalities that have come or it's as a result of the mercury and the cyanide that are being released in our water bodies and our farms. I drink water here. I buy food stuff. I eat food here. So I should be worried.
Despite government efforts to curb illegal mining, the destruction continues.
In terms of the socioeconomics of mining, it's likely the youth, age between 18 to 35. And these are strong, energetic people who should either be pursuing a skill or be working in sustainable areas. But they're all caught up in the mining. And there were a lot of testimonies on the ground as to how young people have left school to run into mining and the implication of that for our future human resources of this country.
Recently, the Catholic Bishops' Conference, during its 5th Assembly meeting in Damongo, called on the government to announce more radical actions against illegal mining.
The persistent devastation of Galamsey compels us to call upon our dear President to announce even more radical action against this menace.
It is therefore imperative for the government to intensify its efforts in dealing with the crisis. Until then, water bodies, the environment, and the future of school-going children in mining communities will continue to be affected.
As teachers, parents, government, I think we all have a lot to do to keep these students at school because they are our future leaders. If not, Galamsey will take them away from us.
Christopher Mwako, TV3 News, Nauni, Kumbungu District.
And now in Ghana, misdiagnosis of neglected tropical diseases remain a significant concern, with the recent study reporting that 5% of healthcare workers are unable to recognize leprosy, a common tropical disease, while many others are often misdiagnosed or underreported. Although Ghana has made significant gains against some NTDs in the countries, sustaining these achievements is reportedly under threat following the withdrawal of donor funds.
Missed diagnosis of neglected tropical diseases often results in delayed treatment, leading to increased morbidity and mortality. It also contributes to the continual transmission of these diseases, higher healthcare costs, and a greater burden on affected communities. The 5 preventive chemotherapy neglected tropical diseases includes river blindness, which remains endemic in 149 districts. Although survey shows parasite levels have dropped below 5% in many areas. The other 4 NTDs, elephantiasis, bilharzia, soil-transmitted helminths, and trachoma, continue to affect various parts of the country. Ongoing efforts to control and eliminate these diseases includes mass drug administration and other public health interventions. Elephantiasis has been eliminated in 114 of the 116 endemic districts, with only 2 still affected. 367 cases of Buruli ulcer were confirmed in 2024 alone, with the disease burden remaining the central region. Meanwhile, yours continues to pose a challenge. In 2024 alone, more than 10,000 suspected cases were reported, with 313 new cases confirmed this year. Head of the leprosy program, Dr. Eduse Poku, at the ICCC high-level meeting series, says the gaps in the treatment of these diseases remain enormous and must be addressed critically.
Can you believe that a lot of them think that leprosy is only the claw hands? That is a two-leg disease. It's a disability. Most of them come as patches. Apart from the diagnosis, where are the medicines? And then every region we have leprosy. The only region we don't have is Bono. But you see, this is passive. And the earlier we do something about it, the better. Can we also integrate ourselves into the NHIA?
Yeah. Program manager of the National NTD program, Dr. Joseph Opari, says donor withdrawal has had a major impact.
It's time that we look internally to see how best we can support these programs. And as I said, about 80% of program activities have been affected, right? So if NTDs are included in our budget, the routine budget, okay, then also get support from local partners, we should be able to move forward.
At the high-level meeting series, stakeholders called for the establishing of an End NTDs fund through public and private partnerships, stressing the urgent need for sustainable domestic financing.
You're still watching News 360 on TV3. We're also live on DSTV channel 279. We're back with more stories after this break. Stay with us.
From Lagos to London, from New York to Kingston, from Durban to Kolegono, everyone is coming to Ghana to taste the culture. On the 26th of December, the Black Star Square becomes the heartbeat of the continent. With Black Sheriff, Omale, Tiwa Savage, King Promise, Jackie, Amare, and more on stage. It's Taste the Culture, the Black Star Experience.
Welcome back. This is News 360. Let's do some more stories now. Imagine being admitted in a hospital for months, declared medically fit, yet unable to go home, not because of your health, but because you owe blood. Well, this report examines how the persistent shortage of reserve blood in some hospitals is leading to needless suffering and, in some cases, preventable deaths. Here's a report by Joseph Armstrong-Gold Alogbe.
Adam Ameido, a 32-year-old medical doctor, took to social media on November 15 to express his frustration. He was upset after a hospital facility refused to discharge his grandmother because the family was unable to replace the blood used during her admission.
She was well enough to be discharged, but they won't let her go. So they were going to keep her at the hospital until we bring 3 people in to replace that blood before they let her go.
Adam tells the news team that he was dumbfounded that such practices still persist in Ghana's healthcare system.
That's something that was unheard of for me, because where I practice, which is the United States, we don't do, that's not something that is normal, right? So I was very upset about the current practice, not knowing the type of crisis that Ghana was currently facing in terms of our shortage in blood, and why they had to put a policy like that in place to help with that shortage.
His concern, he says, was that his grandmother, an elderly woman, was being exposed to additional health risk the longer she remained in the hospital. But beyond the online rant, Adam decided to take action. His advocacy has since contributed to the establishment of a blood unit at the Ghana Armed Forces Critical Care and Emergency Hospital aimed at boosting emergency blood supply.
When I put it out there, one of the 37 military reps, Dr. Samani, replied with kind of the policy and why it was the way it was. So he educated me on what it was. So I figured it made sense to partner up with him so we could try to do something, and we decided to do a blood donation drive. It requires all of us to fix the system, right? We can't just depend on the governments. All of us have something powerful in our system, which is blood. And it takes one person to save another person's life.
The commander of the Ghana Armed Forces Critical Care and Emergency Hospital, Brigadier General Thomas Aquinas Bire, has also expressed concern over the impact of blood shortage in health facilities across the country.
Blood is always an issue. I was in theater last night and there was somebody that needed blood. The group was not available. Then they ask you to go to police hospital, it's not available. Go to Kolebu, it's not available. And so you find relations moving from point to point looking for blood. And that should not be the situation. As much as possible, we want to encourage voluntary donation of blood.
He notes that in some cases, patients lose their lives simply because blood is unavailable when needed.
Personally, I've witnessed people who have lost their lives. Here in this institution, there was one person who lost the life because we didn't have blood. At the time we got it, then it was already too late. And that is what actually pushed us to set up a blood bank in this facility.
He is therefore calling on the general public to actively support blood donation drives to help reduce preventable hospital deaths. Blood is critical for surgeries, trauma care, maternity services, and the treatment of various medical conditions. The availability of safe and adequate blood is essential for hospitals and clinics to deliver effective health care. However, Ghana, like many developing countries, continues to struggle with maintaining a steady blood supply. Health experts attribute the shortfall to misconceptions about blood donation, fear of needless and deeply rooted cultural beliefs factors that continue to put lives at risk. As healthcare professionals and advocates call for action, the question remains: how many more lives must be endangered before blood donation becomes a national priority? Joseph Armstrong, Gold, Allegro TV3, Accra.
Now, away from that, Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayine this week confirmed that Ghana has officially requested the United States to extradite former Finance Minister Kenneth Furata, with calls by some Ghanaians for the U.S. to reciprocate by extraditing wanted Ghanaians in the U.S. The Attorney General says it is not that simple. There's more in this report.
The Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Dr. Dominic Ayine, on Thursday, December 18, 2025, made the announcement during the government's accountability series. He said the government has formally requested the United States to extradite former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta and his aide. The Attorney General revealed that the former Finance Minister has engaged top legal practitioners in the United States to contest his extradition to Ghana.
On November 19th, 2025, that is this year, my office received a formal request from the Office of the Special Prosecutor to initiate extradition proceedings for Kenneth Ofori-Atta and Ernest Darko Akore from the United States of America. On December 10th, 2025, my office transmitted the complete request to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for onward transmission to the competent authorities in the United States of America. That is, in this case, the Department of Justice of the United States.
However, speaking on the key points, a political science lecturer at the University of Ghana, Dr. Joshua Zato, weighed in on the matter. Dr. Zato faulted the Attorney General for waiting an entire year before filing an extradition request for the former Finance Minister.
The government has extradited some Ghanaians already to the United States.
Absolutely.
And they were
Even
working and they were working with the FBI to collect Shatawole's car. Why didn't they make a request for the repatriation of Sedina Tamaklu, who has actually been convicted of a crime? I think it should be a very easy, straightforward cut-off negotiation. Listen, hey, we've given you 2 people. Now also return the good faith. Show us good faith. The inability or unwillingness of this government to exercise that option smacks of a certain level of cover-up.
For his part, private legal practitioner Justice Abdullah also commented on the development. He said the Attorney General's revelation that Ken Ofori-Atta has hired top lawyers in the United States to file his extradition presents the state with one of its most challenging legal cases.
My position has been that we have waited for far too long to get to this point. The former finance minister should have been convicted if he indeed is guilty of the offenses, or the issues involving his office would have come to some level of closure so that we move on as a nation. We cannot spend a whole year now trying to get him back onto this country and then spend another year or more to try and possibly take a decision as to whether to be convicted or not.
Meanwhile, legal practitioner and Chief Executive Officer of the National Road Safety Authority, Abraham Amaleba, questioned the delay by the state agencies in freezing the properties of the former finance minister.
Ofori-Atta is using the resources that we claim were wrongly or ill-gotten to fight us in the U.S. court. Forget about his investment in the U.S. But in Ghana, can't you cut off the oxygen? Because those resources are what he's using. How many Ghanaians, if they want to be extradited, can afford top lawyers in the U.S.? So I'm asking the authorities, the Yoko and the SOP, what is delaying the freezing of Ofori-Atta's properties?
Let's talk agriculture, and government has been implored to prioritize investment in soybean production as a strategic tool to reduce poverty and stimulate economic growth. Crop scientists say increased attention to the sector will not only boost farmer incomes but also accelerate rural development across the country.
Soybean is considered a strategic crop due to its significant contribution to food security, livestock feed production, and industrial applications in Ghana. The value chain spanning production, processing, storage, and marketing provides employment opportunities for farmers, processors, traders, and transporters. Experts say increased production and productivity could reduce Ghana's dependence on imports, strengthen food sovereignty, and improve the country's trade balance. At a Farmers' Field Day organized to showcase the Crops Research Institute's support for government agricultural transformation agenda under the Feed Ghana program, the head of the Legumes and Oilseeds Improvement Division at CRI, Dr. Sylvester Addy, says soybean remains one of the most underutilized crops in the country, despite its enormous economic and nutritional value.
We want to take this advantage of this platform to let the government know that they need to collaborate with us by means of providing more resources to us, in providing irrigation facilities, machinery, and many other things, especially funding. We have what it takes to be able to scale up, produce seed to meet the seed demand for the whole country and even beyond.
Participants at the program also echoed the call for increased investment.
As we live here and go to our various homes, we will try to cultivate some as a trial, and also it will be as a source of employment so that it will generate some income to, sustain our standards of living as well.
Stakeholders are hopeful that increased government investment, coupled with strong policy support for soybean production, will help unlock the crop's full potential and contribute meaningfully to national development.
The Majority Leader, Mahama Nalerigu, has denied claims of possible constitutional amendment to grant President Mahama a third term.
I know that due to the very, very excellent performance so far of John Dramani Mahama, Ghanaians are asking him to seek a third term. I know that. I know that because I read on social media, I listen to conversations, and Ghanaians believe that as a result of the good deeds of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, they don't want him to leave the presidency.
They believe a third term is possible.
And they believe that a third term is possible. And they are demanding for a third term. But John Dramani Mahama has not given any indication that he wants to go for a third term. But I have always said that Ghanaians will be the ultimate deciders of the future of this country.
Let's just stay in Parliament, because before the House took a break on Friday, the Minority Leader also criticized his referral to the Privileges Committee over Ghana's ECOWAS Parliament delegation.
It is our prayer that the first Deputy Speaker and his committee will resist all temptations, are being pushed to do that which is never done in any democracy. The Minority Leader has not disrespected any order of this House. Indeed, the ECOWAS Parliament rejected outrightly the resolution that sought to remove the Minority Leader from his seat as an ECOWAS MP. The Minorities Leader's seat at ECOWAS Parliament is not one of those that can be removed. You can remove the Chief Justice. You can remove others who are political appointees, but not his bona fide right as a member of ECOWAS Parliament and a third Deputy Speaker. He shall remain until April 2028, when his tenure shall have come to an end. Mr. Speaker, thank you so much indeed.
Let's now bring you some sports news.
Sports segment is brought to you by Sasso Insecticide Spray and Coil.
In sports tonight, after days of anticipating, the Legacy Rise boxing bout is finally here. Gathered at the Legon Sports Stadium are boxing enthusiasts and a host of boxers set to trade punches in the ring. Billy Shen is currently on ground to tell us what is happening so far at the Legon Stadium. Bill, good to have you. Good evening to you. Talk to us. What is happening there?
To the weigh-in, finally that time has arrived here at the Legon Sports Stadium as the Legacy Rise boxing bout. It began a few minutes ago when the Antart fighters, Sedem from Ghana, facing off against Chiamaka from Nigeria. Now, upon coming in, we did realize that there was a huge traffic around the Oponglo area, and also security was quite tight going through the paces, making all the checks necessary to allow people to enter this particular event. But as you can see, there are still some spaces in the stadiums because not a lot of fans have come in yet. But it is expected that with the traffic that has been built up from Oponglo, we'll see a lot more fans coming in to watch the bout. Now, as I mentioned earlier, as you can see right behind me, there is the arena which is set up. Already they have started with the undercard fights. Sedem from Ghana is currently battling against Chiamaka from Nigeria. 2 rounds have already passed. They are about going to the 3rd round between them. And I'll be talking to a few people to gauge their mood ahead of this particular event. Of course, you remember that the headline fight is between Craig Richards and Dan Aziz. Now, both fighters actually from the UK, South London. They know each other very well. I remember when I interviewed Aziz, he did mention that these two were actually sparring partners when they were quite young. And then there's also that very big one that has been hyped for a while. That is between Freezy McBones and also Jonathan Tete. Of course, these two guys literally almost traded blows at the face-off, which happened on Wednesday, and then they shared a few words between them on Thursday. It was a very huge build-up between the two of them, and I'll be talking to a few people to gauge their mood ahead of the Legacy Rise boxing bout. Chairman, first off, what's your name?
My name is Richard. It's one thing.
Okay, Richard. I mean, which particular fight are you looking forward to?
Worldwide and Freezy.
So Freezy and Worldwide. Why are you looking forward to this particular fight?
You see, especially when you look at Worldwide, the way he's jogging, he'll be shaking the body, and the hype, even from Code, Mickey, and Kevin Taylor. Yeah, I listen to their hype, and I think Charlie is very interested to come and watch it.
But I'm quite curious. How difficult was it getting inside? I saw a number of security personnel just outside trying to make some checks and all of that. How easy and how difficult was it for you to get inside this particular ring?
Oh, me particularly, it was cool because I was having the VIP ticket. The only problem we had was the parking slot, but honestly, we were cool about it too. So it was cool. And one thing I like about it, the security personnel, they are much in numbers, which is very good.
All right, so definitely, thank you very much for coming in to speak to me. Of course, I'm going to talk to another person. Chairman, what's your name?
David Ganser.
David, I'm guessing you are very close to the organizing of this particular event. I mean, how has it been so far for you?
Oh, it's been an amazing experience. So what we do, we're part of the promotion in the UK, and we wanted to team up with Legacy Rise and combine both forces to create something amazing back home.
Right. And I mean, before I let you go, which particular fight are you most interested in watching?
The fight I'm most interested in seeing is Freezy versus Teze. Yeah. So that one I'm very excited about. But every fight tonight is a 50-50 fight. So we don't know who will win or who should win. So we have to tune in and support.
All right, thank you very much. Of course, people mentioning that fight between Freezy and Jonathan Tete, which will be coming up later tonight. Billy Shen for 3 Sports here at the Legon Sports Stadium. Back to you in studio.
Certainly. Thank you so much, Bill, for bringing us those updates. Stay with us here on TV3 and all the Media General platforms, particularly on social media at TV3 Ghana, so that you'll be able to have a feel of everything happening at the Legon Sports Stadium. This is still News 360. We're back with more stories. Stay with us.
Welcome back. The Agricultural Development Bank, ADB, has held a festival of 9 lessons and carol service, bringing together staff, former employees, customers and key stakeholders. According to the management, the year has been productive, making the gathering an opportunity to reflect, give thanks and celebrate achievement as the bank wraps up the year.
The Agricultural Development Bank, ADB, is one of the leading financial institutions that provides retail, corporate, SME and agribusiness banking services across the country. Speaking at the carol service, the General Manager for Agribusiness, Kwame Siedu Atrams, explained the essence of the celebration.
With everybody buying into the idea and putting their best foot forward, with the help of the Lord, we've made great successes. We've made good strides, and we acknowledge that it could only be just by God's doing. For man proposes, but it is God who puts them right and makes them count and be successful.
The head of marketing and communications, Muhammad Ali, reaffirmed the bank's commitment to serve customers with the best products.
Our customers are the reason we exist, and so we cannot say anything, a word, except to first of all thank them and appreciate them deeply for their loyalty, and patronage of our services. We also want to assure them that we are just starting. ADB is rising. ADB is going to make sure we provide the necessary, customer experience that they desire.
The event was crowned with a musical performance by gospel artist PSA Esther and a cocktail party.
Well, when you see these events happening, then you know that the festive season is finally upon us. We are back with more after this break. Stay with us.
When you are going to buy a paint, don't look left, don't look right. Go straight and grab the luxury acrylic paint. No be any paint, be paint.
The luxury acrylic paint.
Paint me champion. When you are going to buy a paint, don't look left, don't look right. Go straight and grab the luxury acrylic paint. No be any paint, be paint.
The luxury acrylic paint.
Paint me.
Let's go, darling.